See, I choose Trulicity to activate my within.
Ask your doctor about once-weekly Trulicity.
Good morning, America. This morning, wild weather.
Oh, my God.
Flash flooding in the Northeast. These cars, fresh from the dealership, swept away, while in the west, lightning strikes. Heavy wind sweeping up dust storms, overtaking this baseball field. Thousands left without power. More storms on the way this morning. Our team is tracking it all.
Stolen plane investigation. What we're now learning about the airline employee who took off in that empty aircraft.
Is he okay?
Were there any red flags? What his family and neighbors are saying this morning. The new details and new questions.
Rally tensions. Protesters taking to the streets in Charlottesville overnight. 1 year after that far-right rally erupted into deadly violence. Now all eyes are on D.C. this morning. Security ramped up as demonstrators descend on the nation's capital just steps from the White House.
Under fire, one of the nation's biggest college football programs facing scrutiny after the death of a player. Top staff members put on leave. The disturbing new allegations.
And acing it. The player at the PGA Championship scoring a hole-in-one. And what he did next with the ball that has everyone talking.
Live from ABC News in New York, this is Good Morning America.
Good Sunday morning, everyone. Dan is off, but so happy to have Whit Johnson. You did a remarkable job anchoring World
thank
News
you.
last
Thank
night.
you. Good to be back.
And it's great to have Adrienne Bankert by my side once again.
Wonderful to be here.
I thought I was looking at Whit Johnson at the golf course at that hole-in-one at the PGA Championship.
One time.
Do you golf?
In mini golf. Mini golf.
Okay,
Yes.
that is a
One
little
hole-in-one.
different game.
Doesn't count.
Went right through the clown mouth.
We're still going to give you points, though.
Okay, thank you.
We want to give Tiger Woods some points, though. He's just 4 strokes back at the PGA Championship, in contention to win his first major in 10 years. And analysts are saying feels like he's getting closer and closer, so a lot of eyes on today's final round.
He's been through so much. A lot of people cheering him on. We'll have more on that coming up. First, though, severe weather hammering the Northeast. It's never a good time for a storm, but the timing couldn't be worse for this bride who had to be rescued from her car.
Man, but the flooding also caused some material damage. Take a look at these cars in Little Falls, New Jersey. They floated away from a car dealership. Ouch. After heading down a river.
Looks like bumper cars. And in the West, thousands of people are without power from dust storms, and there are even more storms on the way. So let's go to Rob, who's tracking it all on this very busy Sunday. Rob, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Paula. Yesterday morning across New York City, it looked like midnight. Look at this time lapse of the clouds rolling in as the sun was trying to lighten the day. It just went black, heavy storms, several rounds of it happening yesterday. Look at some of these numbers for rainfall totals, and in some cases, record amount in Central Park, nearly 3 inches, over 4 inches in Caldwell. Long Island seeing over 4 inches of rainfall as well. In some of these areas, seeing about a half a foot of rain above average so far this year. So in many cases, it didn't take much to flood. Overnight, a dramatic washout caught on camera as flash floods wreak havoc on parts of the Northeast.
Oh, my God, those cars are completely underwater.
In New Jersey, bystanders in shock, capturing the moment dozens of cars from this dealership float away, crashing into each other as they're pushed by rushing waters. Strong storms slamming the region. This house going up in flames after being struck by lightning. This wall collapsing, displacing dozens of residents. And watch as police rescue this bride and her wedding party stuck in rising floodwaters. In New York, the storm rolling in, flooding this highway. And more bad weather in the west. In Las Vegas, overnight, heavy rain, wind, and a dust storm warning causing thousands of power outages. This baseball game interrupted as the dust pours over the center field fence. Players and onlookers quickly running for cover. A little bit drier weather heading into the southwest. A little bit drier weather right now across the northeast. You see the heaviest rains are offshore, but we're going to look for things to refire. We still have a flash flow to watch out for parts of southern New England. Coastal flood advisories for some onshore flow today, as most of the action, I think, will be across the mid-Atlantic with some sporadic storms during the day today. And then tomorrow becomes more widespread. So another round tomorrow, and then in through Tuesday could see up to 3 inches or more additional rain over, again, very saturated ground. We'll talk more about the southwest in just a few minutes. Paula?
Busy day, busy map. Rob, thank you. Thank you. Now to the new details about that airline employee who stole a plane from Seattle-Tacoma Airport and performed some high-flying stunts before dying in a fiery crash.
He has been identified as 29-year-old Richard Russell. Officials say he did not have a pilot's license, but he did have clearance to be in a secure area of the airport. The FBI now leading the investigation. ABC's Clayton Sandell is in Seattle with what we're learning this morning. Clayton, good morning.
Good morning, Adrian. Good morning, Paula. That's right. The FBI is in charge here this morning. Agents will be taking a deep dive into this rogue pilot's background and motives, trying to figure out how a member of the ground crew was able to pull this off.
This morning, we're learning more about that rogue pilot and his joyride in a stolen airliner.
Oh my God, is he okay?
His alarming aerobatics in an empty turboprop.
The Alaska Airlines Q400, what the is he doing over here?
No ordinary air show.
Holy
At the controls, 29-year-old Horizon Airlines employee Richard Russell, a member of the airline's ground crew, commandeering the plane Friday night, pursued by fighter jets ready to shoot him down as controllers tried talking him down.
All right, Rich, now let's try to land that airplane safely and not hurt anybody on the ground.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't want to. I was kind of hoping that was going to be it.
The flight ended in a fiery crash. Authorities say Russell passed multiple background checks to work at Horizon, but did not have a pilot's license.
Commercial aircraft are complex machines, so I don't know how he achieved the experience that he did.
Russell was married. He worked for Horizon 3.5 years, posting about his job on YouTube.
I'm a ground service agent. That means I lift a lot of bags.
Neighbor Elizabeth Gibson spoke to Russell just hours before his fatal flight. She says he seemed well adjusted.
He wasn't a bad person. He's a loving, kind person, very nice, sad and shocking.
But authorities say Russell was suicidal. He told controllers he was a broken man.
Got a lot of people that care about me, and it's going to disappoint them that I did this. I would like to apologize to each and every one of them. Just a broken guy. Got a few screws loose, I guess.
The ones who cared about him the most, his family, now heartbroken, issuing this statement overnight.
We are stunned and heartbroken. Bebo was a warm, compassionate man. He was a faithful husband, a loving son, and a good friend.
Airline officials say, of course, Russell was allowed to be around planes as part of his job, but they say they will be taking a look at whether security procedures need to be changed. Whit.
All right, Clayton Sandell in Seattle for us. Thank you so much. We want to bring in retired Marine Corps Colonel and ABC News contributor Steve Ganyard, a former fighter pilot. Colonel, thanks so much for joining us. We are learning a lot about this employee. He had clearance. He had access to that plane. But could the airlines add additional layers of security to prevent an amateur like this from pushing all the buttons, starting the aircraft, and taking off?
Whit, obviously, Alaska and Horizon, and I think all airlines are going to have to go back and look at the people who have access to their airplanes and access to their cockpit. But in this case, you heard that he was a good guy. He was a great employee. There was no signs, nothing that would tip anybody off that he would do something like this. I think another thing that's remarkable here is in the past, you would have had to have gone and taken flying lessons. You would have had to been in a simulator. You can go out and buy for $60 online a very high fidelity simulator for your home computer. If you look at some of those maneuvers, this guy had never flown an airplane, and he was actually making some really nice, safe, very professional looking kinds of aerobatic maneuvers. It's quite remarkable.
It really is, until, of course, the crash in the end there. No red flags, though. Officials did call him suicidal. What can you tell us about the mental health screening that these employees go through? And since they're granted this kind of access to the planes, should that screening be more rigorous?
You know, it's hard to think about at what level do you ask people to go through mental screening. This guy was a ground handler. He threw bags on airplanes. He took care of airplanes. He towed them around. He's not the kind of person that you think would need that kind of scrutiny for their mental health. Look at the pilots. The pilots every year go through a flight physical, and they're asked about their mental status. If they want to hide it, if they want to hide suicidal thoughts, they can do it. We've seen at least 4 instances in the past 4 years in Mozambique, in Indonesia, Malaysian Flight 370. You remember that Germanwings airplane that flew into the side of a cliff in the Alps. These were all pilots who kept their demons internal and carried out their suicide plots. very hard to stop if you don't know about it.
But thankfully, nobody else killed in this crash. Steve Ganyard for us in Washington, thank you so much. We appreciate it. Still a lot of unanswered questions there.
I don't know about you two, but for me, I can't get this story out of my head. It is so searing to think about what he was going through to get inside of a plane knowing it was a suicide mission.
And he was able to pull it off, and those tricks and stunts he was able to do in the air, too, before it all came to a fiery finish. Yeah. We'll definitely stay on top of that. In the meantime, though, we want to turn to the other major story today. Concerns this morning about dueling protests just hours away in Washington, marking 1 year since violent clashes erupted between white nationalists and counter-protesters in Charlottesville.
Overnight, some tense moments between students, activists, and police in riot gear on the University of Virginia campus, where last year white nationalists were carrying torches. Those white nationalists were confronted. ABC's David Wright is also in Washington, where the largest protests are expected sometime this afternoon and where security is very tight. David, good morning.
Good morning, Adrian and Whit. This is where it'll all go down later today. Lafayette Park, right across the street from the White House. Security, as you say, is very tight here today. D.C. authorities do not want a race riot right on the president's doorstep. As the demonstrators descend on the nation's capital, multiple law enforcement agencies are determined to keep things calm and to keep the two groups separate. White nationalists on one side of the park, counter-protesters on the other. Authorities here don't want a repeat of Charlottesville, where white nationalists and neo-Nazis clashed violently with counter-protesters. The melee turning deadly when a car driving at high speed mowed down counter-protesters and killed 32-year-old Heather Heyer. In Charlottesville this weekend, a peaceful memorial. ABC's Eva Pilgrim caught up with Heyer's mother.
Are you worried at all this weekend?
No. What will be, and we'll move forward from there.
The same group that organized last year's rally in Charlottesville, Unite the Right, is behind today's rally in Washington.
I liken what I'm doing to the civil rights movement in the 1960s.
Organizer Jason Kessler insists he's not racist. He sees himself as a civil rights advocate for white America.
I think that white people are in a different situation than they've ever been before. Right now, white people are about to become a minority in both the United States and Europe. I think we are facing epidemic levels of anti-white discrimination.
A big difference this year in Charlottesville and in Washington. The counter-protesters may well outnumber the white nationalists.
I think the point of the demonstration is to demonstrate to the world and to the city of D.C. that these people are a minority.
The city of D.C. and the multiple law enforcement agencies securing this area have a good deal of experience with crowd control and protest. They're going to do their best to keep these marchers separate. Behind me here, you can see the counter-protesters will be on this side of Andrew Jackson, the white nationalists on the other side. Hopefully they won't even come together at all. And while this is all on the president's doorstep, he's not even here. He's on his last day of vacation up in Bedminster. Guys?
And he's been calling it a working vacation. David Wright, thank you for your reporting from D.C. this morning. And President Trump breaking his silence on the anniversary of those violent protests, and he did so on Twitter.
Yeah, it's become par for the course. We have a lot of news out of Washington in what some are calling a stark contrast to his initial response to Charlottesville. The president is now condemning all racism and acts of violence. ABC's White House correspondent Tara Palmieri is in Berkeley Heights, New Jersey, near the president's golf club with the latest. Tara, good morning.
Good morning, guys. President Trump invited the press to his golf club yesterday for an event with supporters, but instead of further condemning the rallies, he called his former staffer a lowlife. This morning, President Trump calling for unity as demonstrators prepare to gather near the White House. The president tweeting Saturday he's fighting for all races, saying, "The riots in Charlottesville a year ago resulted in senseless death and division. We must come together as a nation. I condemn all types of racism and acts of violence." This, a sharper tone from last year, when many criticized him for not calling out violent white nationalists in clashes with counter-protesters, saying,
"Well, I do think there's blame. Yes, I think there's blame on both sides."
The president keeping his distance from today's rallies, spending the weekend hundreds of miles away with supporters at his Bedminster resort in New Jersey.
We want to thank you for being here.
where he also responded directly for the first time to his former advisor, Omarosa Monagle-Newman, who calls him a racist in her new book.
Lowlife. She's a lowlife.
The former reality show villain,
Omarosa has to go. You're fired.
Rose up to be the highest-ranking African-American in the White House, only to be fired late last year. Asked by TMZ if the president's attacks on athletes are causing tensions with the black community.
He wants to start a race war. Succeeding.
Would you say the president is a racist right now? Is it fair to say?
Absolutely.
According to the Washington Post, which has an advanced copy of her book titled Unhinged, Monagle-Newman claims that Trump is a, quote, racist, bigot, and misogynist. The White House bashing her book, calling it riddled with lies and false accusations. We may not see the president again this weekend as he has no more events on his public schedule. Tomorrow he heads to Fort Drum in upstate New York to sign the annual defense bill, this year named after Senator John McCain. Paula?
All right, Tara, thank you. For more on this, let's bring in ABC's chief White House correspondent, John Carl, who's hosting this week a little bit later this morning. So, John, we're a year removed from Charlottesville. Are expecting a white civil rights march there in D.C. where you are. The president's taken a much different tone, tweeting that he condemns all types of racism and, quote, we must come together as a nation. So what is his role in this actually happening?
In terms of coming together as a nation, it's not a successful one at this point. We had a recent poll by the Quinnipiac organization say that just about a third of the country approves of the president's approach towards race relations. And Paula, among African Americans, only 3% approve of the president's actions.
And can we talk about Omarosa, who the president just called a lowlife? Considering she's already changed her story, John, how damaging could this book be? Or do you expect people to presume that she's just a disgruntled employee with an axe to grind?
Well, she has serious credibility problems. I mean, she told us just last December that the president is absolutely not a racist, that she would never have worked for a racist. So she's not exactly the most credible critic here. But the thing is, Paula, she was the president's most high-profile, prominent, senior African-American on his White House staff. And for that reason, she can't be ignored.
Yeah, you've got Michael Avenatti on the show. Who's become an unlikely hero on the left. So this week he was doing the rounds as he's considering a presidential run. And John, you heard him say, quote, when they go low, we hit harder. So did Democrats really feel that he could be their guy? Could we see a Trump-Avenatti joust?
What, you mean a candidate with no political experience and a checkered past?
Yeah,
Come on.
Exactly
that sounds crazy. Well, he had quite a reception out in Iowa. I mean, he had a fiery speech. It was quite a beginning. He is the most unconventional candidate we have seen, well, I guess since about 4 years ago.
Cannot wait to hear what he has to say on the show. John, thank you. And a reminder, everyone, John has a big show this morning. He's going to go one-on-one with Counselor to the President, Kellyanne Conway. Plus, as he just said, Avenatti discusses that potential 2020 White House run that's coming up on This Week right here on ABC, of course. The former First Lady said when they go low, we go high. Michael Avenatti says that's not working anymore.
We go harder.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like in different words saying we go lower almost to a degree.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about going way up.
Yep.
With Rob Marciano. Let's talk about some weather, Rob.
Let's do it. Let's move away from my checkered past and get into the very dry air that's happening across parts of the West. This video, again, out of Las Vegas. We had a big dust storm go through the air yesterday with 60-mile-an-hour winds and 60,000 people at one point without power. So not a good situation there along the Strip, Boulder City, Henderson as well. And the dry air is going to continue, in some cases, getting down into the teens as far as RH goes. And that means bad news for the fires across much of the northern plains, looking at triple-digit heat once again. We saw a number of records broken yesterday, more rain across parts of Texas. That's a quick check on the weather headlines. Time now for a look at your local forecast.
Hello and good morning, Washington. We'll have some added clouds today, also the chance for some scattered showers and thunderstorms. Those will be most likely as we get through the afternoon and evening. Temperatures reaching the mid, possibly upper 80s. In a couple spots, and downpours, heavy rain, that will be the main threat in any of these storms that do develop. Monday, more of the same. Temperatures in the mid-80s, scattered showers and storms. For your Tuesday, just a stray storm in the afternoon. Temperatures back around 87 degrees. A little bit drier as we get through Wednesday with highs near 90 degrees.
Who's psyched for the PGA Championship? I am. There you go. It'll be great weather in St. Louis.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, now that we're all psyched,
exactly,
it's time for something else.
From Rob to Dr. Rob, with our other day's headlines. Good morning.
Hey, good morning to you, all of you. Ensemble.
There are a lot
good
of us.
morning, everyone. We're going to begin in Baltimore, Maryland, where a police officer has been suspended after a video surfaced online showing him repeatedly punching a man on the street. The cell phone video shows the officer beating the man Saturday and shoving him onto some steps. until the man falls to the ground. The police interim commissioner there in Baltimore says he is deeply disturbed by that video. The suspended officer's partner was placed on administrative leave. And New York Republican Congressman Chris Collins, who was indicted on insider trading